Joining us right now is Punchbowl News co-founder Jake Sherman. He's also an NBC News and MSNBC political contributor. Good morning to you. Can you speak to this question of, do we think Harris tacks to the center? What does that mean? We obviously watched her say over the weekend that she's prepared to follow Trump's lead on not taxing tips, for example.
I don't know if she's tacking to the center, Andrew, but I guess a little bit. I agree with everything Emily said, but want to add one wrinkle here. A new poll that the FT published with, I think, University of Michigan has Harris for the first time overtaking Trump on who voters trust to handle the economy, which is undercutting, I think, the central thesis, or one of the central theses of the candidacy. And I think, to be honest with you, their goal is to play it safe for the next 80-something days. And quite frankly, Donald Trump is doing a lot of the work for them. I mean, you see him saying increasingly ludicrous things, like suggesting a rally that thousands of people were at, including many reporters, was staged by AI. I think there's a lot of concern. I know there's a lot of concern among Republicans that Trump is saying more ludicrous things as time goes by, where they would just rather have Trump point out his Kamala Harris's record, which he's not really doing much. It's everything besides a record.
So, Jake, one of the things that's interesting right now is, A, we're at a honeymoon phase of some sort, and B, we haven't heard much directly in terms of policy from the Harris campaign. And so the question is whether that ultimately actually works for them, which is to say, how much do you actually even say? And do you need to say that? Because the second you start to say exactly what the policies are, depending on what they are, people can actually poke holes in those policies and go after them. Whereas when you don't have a policy, it's hard to say anything. We're here talking about, does she move more to the center? Does she move more to the left? Right?
Yeah, no, you're right, Andrew. I think that the general thesis here is that she should say as little as humanly possible until she's forced to. Now, that's not good governance or good politics if you're looking for substance. But at this point, this honeymoon phase is really well timed, because she gets in the race. Next week, she goes to the convention, after which she'll certainly get a bump. And then we're basically in September, when people start tuning into the election traditionally for the first time. So a really well-timed set of events for Kamala Harris. But if she gets into a debate, she's going to be forced into policy positions. But this does say something, Andrew. It does lend some credence to the European model, where elections are only 6 weeks, because you're able to maintain voter interest, voter momentum for a short period of time. It's more difficult to do that over 2 years.
And if I can just add to Jake's good analysis there, I mean, that's why you're seeing the Trump campaign now kind of hit Harris on not having a big sit-down interview at this point. Although, interestingly, you are going to see the Harris campaign roll out a couple more economic priorities today, particularly stuff dealing with fees, dealing with kind of the wait times that people have to cancel stuff. So you're seeing her at least get a little bit more kind of taking the baton from Joe Biden and some of the policy.
But don't you think that she's not going to, if I'm her, I'm not going to go do a sit-down interview before I get to the convention. No matter what.
Already started.
Right?
No.
So you do the convention, and then you can make decisions about, and by the way, you might even wait a week or 2 or 3 even after that, because you're going to then get into the debate period.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. There's a huge timing to this, and exactly how she wants to ride this momentum, how further she wants to carry it on. It's been interesting, after some of those Trump attacks on her not sitting down, there was that video clip of her walking up to the press on the airport tarmac and saying, all right, what do you have for me? Kind of trying to counteract that narrative.
The one thing that's probably not avoidable on a policy front is, of course, next, whoever's president and whatever the Congress looks like, is the scheduled expiration of the Trump tax cuts. So what's the math say right now in terms of the makeup of Congress? You're talking about down ballot impacts. It's going to be close either way, right?
It's absolutely going to be close. I mean, Speaker Mike Johnson has just come out and said it. Whether he's Speaker next year or someone else, the margins are going to be pretty narrow. Obviously, he thinks he'll be Speaker, but we're not going to have 35, 40 points to work with.
He said that was because of gerrymandering. You literally can't get as big of the majorities as you used to.
You look at the number of swing districts in the House, and now it's what? I think it's like 11 versus 13. I mean, it used to be like in like the 20s and the 30s. There used to be much more room. But, of course, gerrymandering has really downplayed those possibilities. responsibilities. So what's going to mean that whatever party, let's say that one party is able kind of across the board, House, Senate, President, they're really going to have to make sure to appease all their members. And we've seen how tough that is. Going back to the New York Republicans, they want to see that cap on state and local taxes lifted, potentially eliminated.
Right.
And if they have a big enough coalition, if the margins are small enough, they can kind of dig their heels in and block any tax policy.
Hey, Jake, do you have a view on how she's going to come out ultimately on taxes? And where do you think she lands on, like, a wealth tax, for example?
I think she suggests that the top rate should snap back to where it was. I think she thinks the corporate rate should go up. But Emily's right. I mean, it actually is, at this point, just talk, because you need to see where Congress is. I don't think this gets done this year, obviously, way ahead of the expiration. But if Republicans have the majority in one chamber, and I assume they will, they're gonna exert their influence to try to extend those tax cuts as much as humanly possible. I think the SALT issue is very difficult for Mike Johnson, but a traditional Democratic position will be soak the rich, keep everything else the same, and I think that's where Kamala Harris ends up.
Okay. But it's just an ironic sort of thing that makes this all makes me think about is gerrymandering good for polarized democracies? Because in other words, it's so entrenched you literally. But Jake, you see what I'm saying? Right? If no one can build, regardless of who wins the presidency, they can't get anything done because Congress is completely gridlocked. I mean, a lot of markets would see that as a good thing, although maybe, listen, but you know what I'm saying.
I'll let you guys make the argument point of view, but I can tell you this, that every single member of Congress, 85% of them, maybe not every single one, 85% of them go back to districts where their extremes are being reinforced. And it leads to no compromise. And you could argue from a political science point of view whether compromise is good. I'm not going to weigh in on that. But every single member goes home and their voters are saying, well, you're not liberal enough, you're not conservative enough, and it pushes them to the edges. And I think that's probably
right, but does it push policy towards the center?